Hey guys, this is Mike, the Wrestling Godsmith, and you guys are watching On Wrestling. Uh, this video is actually for Crown Jewel that I just watched it, and I gotta say this is the thing. Like the matches are good, and this is I'm just gonna say like Crown Jewel gets a C plus because they're trying. And here's the thing, like I'm not even like the matches. Like, and I understand they're doing Saudi Arabia again, and I'm glad that everything's getting better with them, but it's just like it's not the same, bro. The King of the Ring thing was cool. The Queen of the Ring thing was cool, but I just feel I kind of feel bored with WWE to be honest with you guys because I did like like I said I like NXT. I liked NXT the other night, but because I had a lot of questions about Joe Gacy, and this is the thing. I don't know where they're going at this point. Because we're going into 2022 this year. I don't know where we're going into the future. I don't know. Because the mindset of trying to come up with money, like, and this is the thing, this is Vince's mindset, and I'm thinking about it as a wrestling fan and also a YouTuber because I'm like, bro, I like I kind of agree with Wrestling Observer is that WWE has done a thousand, like 100,000 things stupid to please us, and to a sense, they're not really doing it. And I'm kind of tired of the fact that they're doing the Survivor Series, but they're not putting NXT involved. Which that would be better because we kind of want. I want to kind of see where 2.0 could kind of line up because I kind of want to see Finn going against Finn going against Braun Breaker or even some type of resurgence of that. And Adam Cole made that resurgence happen, and I'm just like, I'm looking at it from a lot of different angles because I look at AEW, they're giving us solid matches. I look at Rampage, they're doing better. I look at this new show that might be AEW Thunder or Winter is Coming. I'm looking at that in the future of January. That's gonna work, and that's what I'm looking at. Because the future here, the future that I'm visualizing in my head a little bit is the fact that we're getting things that we usually would never get because and this is the thing. And like I said, Crown Jewel was okay, but this is the problem. The problem is they're pushing so much with Big E and the Drew McIntyre thing. That was okay. I mean, the Goldberg Bobby Lashley match wasn't bad, but I'm used to Goldberg. I've kind of seen him a bunch of times. I'm kind of tired of seeing him. I'd rather see him in AEW because that would probably be a bigger hit. I don't really know what they're gonna do with Edge with Seth Rollins at this point because I think they're gonna like once we go to Survivor Series and go right after Survivor Series into the Royal Rumble, that's gonna be a thing. Or is he gonna go after Roman again for the Universal title? Because this is the thing. I like that he's the Universal Champion. I like that they brought Brock back in some way. But the problem was with the match was the fact that Brock wasn't. We already knew it wasn't. It was gonna be some controversial finish because that's what WWE does. It's a C plus, guys. Cause I'm being honest with you guys because I don't like the fact that we've been getting the same guy who was a part timer who didn't even want to come back to WWE for a reason. And the thing is, Roman wanted him to come back to have one final match with him. And I thought it would be this climactic thing, but it ended up not being climactic because if it was climactic, the ref would have got involved. They don't know what they want to do with this the juncture because, like I said, we've kind of been hitting a juncture. I'm trying to do my video and they're talking. I can't even focus. And I apologize, guys. Like I said, the juncture with WWE at this point with Crown Jewel, with everything they're doing, I don't get it. I don't know why Vince is trying at this point because AEW they're not gonna slip up. They're not. I felt bored. I like Crown Jewel, but I liked it when they did the Andre, the Battle Memorial, the General Memorial, and that was it. And then you literally have, you got Byron Saxton, Corey Graves, and Michael Cole, and I guess they're part of Raw, or at some point, yeah, I guess they're part of SmackDown or Raw, whatever at this point. And this is the thing, this is the juncture I'm talking about. They set up. It took them 5 months to get Charlotte to go to Raw. And I'm just like, bro, I get the point that they're trying to put with Becky. I get the big time Beck's gimmick. I get it. But the problem is she's not going to drop that belt to y'all. She's not going to do it. She might do it to Bianca if they even let her go at that far. But they really win. The thing with Sasha Banks is her character isn't a heel or a face. It's just in between. She's gray. She's literally gray. That's the only reason she. That's the only reason she wanted against Sasha, because that's the only reason. Because the funny thing with Sasha, she's not doing nothing. They don't know. They don't know what they want to do at this point. And this is the thing, and I get it. I get the reasons. I get everything under the sun with this, and I get why they're doing this juncture. I get the crown jewel. I get what they're doing for Monday, what they're doing for tomorrow. I get everything, and I'm just like, you know what? And SmackDown's problem, they consistently do the same old thing. They're gonna give Roman a championship celebration. Brock's gonna come back and some way want to fight him at, literally want to fight him at Survivor Series or some craziness. And the thing is, they're trying to advertise Survivor Series a month away. But the funny thing is, even if they do, it's not going to be as good. Zelina Vega finally gets something out of WWE for being there about 5 or 6 years now. She finally gets something, but they're never going to make her a champion, because the problem is they're not going to make her a champion because they want to focus on Sasha being champion. They want to focus on Becky being champion. They want to focus on every other woman in that darn roster besides her. And she's the only one that never had a championship. And the funny thing is, I kind of get why she's doing the singles career thing. I get it. I understand what she's trying to do. I get the mindset. And this is what I was talking about, even with the Doudrop match. Doudrop is not bad. I don't mind Eva Marie. I don't mind her. But the problem is, without Eva Marie, she wasn't a dud. Without Eva Marie, she kind of got it. Without Eva Marie, she can do it. She can become a star if they let her do it. But the problem is, WWE's not going to do it. They're not going to do it. And it's the consistency of, like, literally, like, they don't know what they want to do. They don't know what they want to do at this point. They really don't. And I'm just trying to be honest with it, because it it's literally the same thing they would do, what WCW would do in the 2000s and 99. And they're trying to build this thing. And whatever they're trying to build with Roman, it's not going to happen, because Roman's going to get older and he's going to get tired. He can't keep going and going and going and going and going and going. And then they got him. They want him to have a great championship reign, like a 10-time championship reign, and he's going to keep having it. And I don't get the point. You got a guy who literally became Universal Champion again 2 or 3 years ago at Crown Jewel, and he beat him. That was the funniest thing in the world. He beat him, and the thing is, he became Universal Champion because they were trying to make this dude a heel before, and he couldn't do it. They tried to make him a face, couldn't do it. Even with the Shield, they could not make this dude a bigger star than he was, because he was just a guy that just showed up out of nowhere. They didn't know who they didn't know who Seth Rollins and Roman was, and Dean. They didn't know who these dudes were. Triple H took them out of the realm of obscurity and made these dudes mega stars. But now it's at this point that Vince has got to think, oh, what am I going to do with Roman? Because he's beating Brock. He's kind of beating everybody. He beat The Undertaker. He beat everybody who stepped to him. Even Finn. And the only reason he beat Finn because Edge interfered in that match. So if Edge had never interfered, or the rope would have never broke, he would have won. That's the point. People don't understand that every time they try to set something up with Roman, and every time I see this pay-per-view, I literally am tired and I was bored, guys. I was bored of it. Because I usually don't say this, but I'm gonna say it. I think the WWE is kind of done. We don't get anything new. We don't get any changes. The belts are always, it's either the main title belts are always going to end up on somebody that's already had a reign, or they're trying to build up the women's division. How can you build up a SmackDown women's division if there is none? There's nothing there. You literally got a hole to do. You got a hole in the middle of the women's division. And even if you get Xia Li to go up to that rank, you're not going to get her up there. And even if she goes to that level, we might have an inkling of a chance she might become a future champion. And that's the point. You take these people out of NXT, you don't develop them. Same thing with Lacey Evans. She could have been a women's champion. She was never gonna be. She couldn't be because they took her out of NXT and they just threw her out there. They took her out of it, threw her out there. Nikki Cross finally got to be Raw Women's Champion after 6 years. Finally. And what do? They job her out in less than a week or two. They can't even give her a chance to do something. No, what's the next best thing we're going to do? We're going to put the darn Women's Tag Team Champion belts on Rhea and Nikki. That's what we're going to do with her. Then we're going to make her be a jobber, because the funny thing is they got nothing left. And I'm just like, and I look at this, and I'm sorry guys, I'm not trying to make this a rant, but I apologize. And I look at this vision, and I look at the Vince's vision, and I look at the WWE as a whole. They're losing people to AEW because all these people that go down to WWE, they go to NXT for about a year or 2 or 3 years, come up, and then when they finally come up, they lose themselves because they're like, yo, we've been at the main event so long, there's nothing left to do. That's the point. There's nothing left. Same thing with Sami Zayn. There's literally nothing left for the guy. But the tournaments will swarmy freaking heel that they can't even figure him out because he's trying to think it's a conspiracy against me. No. There isn't a conspiracy against you. You lost. And the crazy thing about the situation with this whole situation with SmackDown, every week or every month or so, or WWE losing viewers because their records are going low. Because the fact is, you can't keep up with AEW, even on a Monday. You got a bunch of wingnuts and creative trying to come up with something that's not Vince Russo, because that dude was basically horrible then. They don't even know what to do with Bruce Pritchard half the time, because he's always on these other promotions, so we don't even know if he works with them. And the smart thing would be to kind of make everybody in the women's division develop. That was the point. That was the purpose of Drew going. That was the purpose of that dude going. That was the purpose of, literally, of Seth going to Raw, was to kind of develop the brand. What ends up happening? He was supposed to be able to develop the brand, kind of go a different way, go back to Monday Night Raw, develop that brand, get the WWE title, become a star again, be a heel, get this vision that he could have done, and that was the problem. They couldn't get the guys they needed to get. And the problem is, just like the Usos, just like Hurt Business, they can't build these freaking factions together. Because you know why they can't build it? Because every time Bobby gets something, ever since MVP left, ever since he did whatever he did, he's gone too. They can't. That's why I looked at this Goldberg Bobby. So you basically stripped him of the title and give Big E his biggest shot ever because Bobby was getting tired of doing that. Same guy for 8 years now, literally became WWE Champion for the first time ever. So now when he's become the WWE Champion, because of Drew, and he became the champion, and this dude literally had a second of thought and maybe said, you know what, why don't I be a dominant champion? Why not have a spectacular year? No. What ends up happening? He beats Drew McIntyre, goes after Drew again, does the whole thing with him, still playing this game like they think they got him. They don't know what to do with Bobby Lashley. That's why they gave him Goldberg, because Goldberg's the only guy that probably can match his skill, which is really ridiculous at this point. He's 54. What are you doing? It would have worked 10 to 15 years ago, maybe if he would have shown up on time. Because for some bloody reason, Vince loves these big dudes that can do this thing. And you got Karrion Kross, who's a brand new guy. He could have gave him the Karrion and maybe to Karrion Kross and maybe did something with him. No, you give him the Goldberg, set this stupid rivalry up because he hurt his son. But magically, I'm supposed to be okay with it. Magically, everything the WWE is going to do is going to turn to gold. That's why they do it every year in Saudi Arabia, because for some bloody reason. Because the next WrestleMania is not even going to be good as the last one, because you know why it's not going to be as good? Because everybody who was in the last WrestleMania are on SmackDown or Raw. Cesaro is basically going in with his own level, and he should be Universal Champion. That dude will never be Universal Champion. That's the point. They will never make anybody that's not Roman, that's not even Finn or anybody else Universal Champion because some godforsaken reason they want Roman to be the big guy now. Again, another franchise of the company, another franchise that they can't do that John Cena was. And magically, they give him the John Cena, but John Cena can't win because you know why he can't win him straight? Because Roman was a different guy when he beat him. Roman was a different guy. John didn't even understand he's been gone for 2 or 3 years, so he developed better. He wasn't a corporate you. You were a franchise. You were a guy that came in the WWE in 2002, going into 2004. You were the prototype. And then, out of magic, out of thin air, they're going to do something else. They're going to give him Batista because Batista's going to want to fight him. Then they're going to give him Triple H because he's going to want to go after Triple H again. They're going to want to do everything physically possible. And that's why I wanted to talk about this Crown Jewel thing. Because I thought to myself, maybe it would be good. No. It wasn't even good at all. The Edge and the Seth Rollins match in Hell in a Cell would have been better if he fell through a cell. You couldn't do that. You couldn't just make that happen. No, you couldn't set that spot up. And the cell is still red. They're on SmackDown. You could make a blue cell. You did it the last time. You did it the last time. So magically, this is the thing I don't get. I understand they're trying to create the bloodline, the Samoan thing, whatever. It would have worked if Rock would have came or something. Maybe he could have fought The Rock. He's never going to... Roman's going to be over... The dude... Here's my problem. Just take a deep breath, guys. Here's my problem. My problem with Crown Jewel, with all the matches, because they were only like 3, maybe 4 out of 10s at best. They weren't even that good. And I'm like, bro, you couldn't have done anything with this? You literally gave Bobby Goldberg and Goldberg still won. Imagine he could have been champion. The dude would have been dominating everybody. He would have finished everybody. He would have beat Drew. He would have finished. He would have walked there. He said he would have left. No, because the thing about Goldberg is he's such a megastar. This dude was such an icon in the 90s and 2000s that they can't get rid of him. They can't get rid of him. 12 years the dude disappeared. Then he comes back as a god. 2016 comes back, beats Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. Doesn't beat him at doesn't beat him in WrestleMania, but beat him in Survivor Series. Comes back and says, you know what? I'm going to go after Drew McIntyre. I'm going to try to beat Drew for the title again. No, what ends up happening? Couldn't beat Drew. He goes after Bobby. Bobby beats him up like an animal. But magically, we're supposed to be okay with this whole situation that everything's good with Goldberg. Maybe if he was 30, maybe this dude was 25 when he showed up the WCW in 98. 97, 98, he showed up. And I remember the date, he showed up on Monday Nitro, the month, and I remember exactly when he showed up. And he showed up October 10th, 97. That's when the dude showed up. Because the magic to the world... like I said, they don't know what to do. They keep doing this, bro. They keep doing this every year, and I'm sorry, guys, because this is what I was saying with the NXT 2.0. They do this every year. They think that they can get something out of everybody. That's the point. We didn't even buy the pay-per-view. WWE thinks that just because they're a corporate giant, just because they got a bunch of stars, and they're literally making the mid-card guys be low-card guys. Then you got the low-card guys being mid-card guys. Then you got the high-card guys being main eventers, though. Really? Really? And I'm going to give you guys my honest opinion about Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel was an utter mess. Because of the Roman thing. We didn't even know who won the WWE title match. I didn't even know who won. So, even if something... Because everyone thought that Undertaker was going to return because he came the last time. Because he wanted an icon versus an icon match. And the problem was... They don't know how to set up people. It's an utter mess, guys. Crown Jewel wasn't even worth it this year. Maybe Survivor Series. Maybe. Maybe the Royal Rumble if something good happens this year. And maybe we might get it. Maybe Edge will win and probably win the Universal Championship this time. But he didn't get a chance to win because Roman kept screwing him out of it every chance. Kept screwing him out of it. I'm like, bro, you've had every championship and you got a wall of championship, a wall of fame. And maybe because the world, and this is the thing I'm talking about with the WWE this year, because they can't figure it out. I feel like they're brain dead. I'm going to give you my honest opinion, guys. I give Crown Jewel basically a 4 out of 10 this year. Because of lackluster matches, storylines that don't make sense, it wasn't even worth the energy. Wasn't worth it. Crown Jewel wasn't worth it. WWE wasn't even worth seeing this year. I'm sorry, guys. I'd rather watch an AEW pay-per-view in a month from now than WWE. But anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe, peace, goodbye, good night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.